Jumbosa has been fantastic, maybe the player of the game.
3rd and 29. That's Abdullah to the 45. Clock under 40. Fourth and forever. Cousins throws, caught, catch made, but did he get the first down? That's Irv Smith to the 24-yard line. Had to get to the 23-yard line. And so that will clearly right. They finished to it. It was 4th down and 22. Does he get there?
I don't think so. Jimmy Ward with a big shot again.
Catch, but short of the line to gain. The ball goes over on down.
Yep.
There's that feeling. There it is for Kyle Shanahan.
Well, he knows what it's like to go to a Super Bowl. He was the Atlanta offensive coordinator when they got there and then lost to New England in that stunning come from behind win. And Mike and Peggy Shanahan, their bouncing baby boy, is on his way to the NFC Championship game.
I saw Mike the other day, and I asked him, "Are you more nervous when you were coaching or now?" He's not even close. Way more nervous now.
Of course, Mike Shanahan knows a little bit about Super Bowls.
Yes, he does.
Winning 2 of them back-to-back with the Broncos and John Elway, and that writes the finish to this one. So a week from tomorrow, the 49ers host the Packers or the Seahawks for the NFC Championship and the right to go to Miami for the Super Bowl. For the Vikings, a good season ends after a wild card win in New Orleans, and now it's on to the 2020 campaign for Minnesota. For Cousins, a big win last week, but tonight just done in. They were done in by that defense. Couldn't get their running game going. 49ers had everything going.
Inside 2 minutes is looking like San Fran will be moving on to the conference championship game up 17. We're going to break it all down for you here on NFL Game Day Highlights coming up at the end of the game.
We welcome you to NFL Total Access.
It's one of the best things about the National Football League.
This is a team that's made for the playoffs.
Yes. There's always a fresh piece of news.
Record-breaking performance by Drew Brees. Everyone in Seattle talking about the return of Marshawn Lynch.
Always something to find out.
This defense is starting to round in the championship form.
Always something to talk about.
That means MVP.
Reporting from every city, on every team, every weeknight.
How big is this game, and how ready do you think you guys are? It's going to be a 4-quarter grudge match.
On every story, defining the game.
His ability to make people miss is unstoppable.
That's a great call!
As it unfolds right in front of our eyes.
This offensive production is amazing.
Into the end zone for the touchdown.
We know the league better than anyone.
Atta baby!
And we're there to make sure you do too.
Super Bowl, here we come.
Unbelievable!
NFL Total Access, only on NFL Network.
This is NFL Network, the place where football and culture collide. It's the collision of the GOATs and the MCs.
Tell me about the offensive side of the ball.
Mashed up with the music.
It's a real big cultural moment right now.
And the movies.
I started watching the show years ago.
Mixed in with the X's and O's and the oohs and ahs. It's all here, all day, every day. Because there's no such thing as too much football.
NFL 100 Divisional Playoff Weekend is upon us. Pull up. It's time for Game Day Highlights presented by Pepsi. We got all hands on deck for what they say is the biggest weekend in sports. Hands the operative word with this one right here. This is Andrew Hawkins, former Brown and Bengal wide receiver, Super Bowl champ Sean O'Hara. I'm just Kyle Montgomery. We're here to steer you through our first game here.
Kyle sandwiched in between a couple of former Browns.
It's just a straight-up dog pound up in her. 49ers up 17. This game should have been done, but Matt Breida just coughed it up here to give the 49ers, to give the Vikings the rock here.
On 4th and 1.
On 4th and 1.
He had the first down. All he had to do was hold on to the rock.
This game will be reaching its conclusion pretty soon. I think it's safe to say 49ers moving on. The road to the Super Bowl in the NFC will be going through Levi Stadium. And we knew coming into this game, guys, that whoever won this game would likely dominate the line of scrimmage. And we saw the 49ers defense. They definitely did that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Even on both sides of the ball, but that defense specifically, I mean, they run such similar offenses. And you know Kyle Shanahan knows Kirk Cousins like the back of his hand, so I'm sure he spent all week with Robert Saleh, man. But they did an incredible job of shutting down Dalvin Cook, shutting down that run game, which subsequently shut down the play action, which Kirk Cousins has done really well using throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook right now, 9 carries for 18 yards.
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah,
that's basically, you know, that's about as shut down as it gets defensively. And then to look at the sacks, I mean, the game started to get away, and this is the exact type of game that you didn't want to play if you're the Minnesota Vikings. You don't want to get into a known passing situations and let Bosa take over the game. We saw Eric Armstead get a sack.
Dee Ford caused some issues as well.
Dee Ford got one early on. They moved him inside over the guard, so that pressure just became too much for Kirk Cousins.
A lot of the focus coming into this game, two quarterbacks that people like to draw parallels between Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo. We saw Kirk get his big win last weekend. It's like Jimmy G is going to get his first playoff win right here, right now. What did this win, what does this game, this performance tell you about Jimmy G? Jimmy GQ, that is.
Well, I think the one thing that we've seen with the 49ers and with Jimmy Garoppolo is just that his accuracy has been on point all season long. He's been phenomenal with these receivers. He's got some young bucks, too, with Deebo Samuel. You know, I think the Emmanuel Sanders has been a big part of this offense. But the one thing that I've always been impressed with Jimmy Garoppolo is he's got a quick release, but he does not lose accuracy with all that. You saw on the very first drive of the game, they marched right down the field, and he threw a dart for a touchdown. Now, the ball's coming out with him, which can lead to interceptions, which we saw that as well. There could have been 2 other ones in this game, but I've been impressed all season long with Jimmy G, and he did not disappoint in the playoffs.
Vikings defense. I don't know if they were a disappointment for you, but did they step up to the plate how you anticipated? This was a top 5 unit, especially in the red zone this year. They seem to fall apart today.
No, I think Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel, who's the run game coordinator there, had their number. Because, I mean, anytime you're in a playoff football, and Zimmer prides himself on this defense and the way they play against the run and the pass game and kind of the mix of the two. But you talked about Garoppolo. Garoppolo didn't have to do much, and that's what's special about Garoppolo. He takes what the defense is giving him and takes what and does what he has to do. Today, it was the running backs. It was the offensive line. It was George Kittle making a difference in the run game just as much as he did in the passing game. And for that Vikings defense, they for sure laid an egg today, man. And it was a huge factor in 49ers moving on to the NFC Championship.
Clock's just about to hit 0, but it looks like 6 seeds have now lost 9 consecutive games in the divisional round, 5-19 since 1990 in this round. Something to be said for home field advantage, something to be said for that extra bye. 49ers look like the fresher team. I don't know if you anticipated to see any rust, but they certainly didn't show any.
Well, yeah, I didn't expect to see a lot of rust from the 49ers, but for them to come out and on the very first drive, go down and score, and immediately put the pressure on the Vikings, which is what you want to do if you're at home.
All right, at Levi Stadium, it is officially final, 27-10. The 49ers get it done. They are going on to the NFC Championship game. They'll be awaiting the winner of tomorrow's divisional round game between the Packers and the Seahawks. Let's get to the highlights. Levi Stadium, 49ers entering as the 1 seed for the first time since 1997. There's Kirk Cousins, got his first playoff win last week, but no.
Yeah, Jambosa has been fantastic. Maybe the player of the game.
3rd and 29. That's Abdullah to the 45. Clock under 40. Fourth and forever. Cousins throws, caught, catch made, but did he get the first down? That's Irv Smith to the 24-yard line. Had to get to the 23-yard line. And so that will clearly right. They finished to it. It was 4th down and 22. Does he get there?
I don't think so. Jimmy Ward with a big shot again.
Catch, but short of the line to gain. The ball goes over on down.
Yep.
There's that feeling. There it is for Kyle Shanahan.
Well, he knows what it's like to go to a Super Bowl. He was the Atlanta offensive coordinator when they got there and then